I know a lot of other reviewers didn't like the movie, but I actually rather enjoyed it. Hey movie watchers, welcome to today's review of
The Curse of La Llorona,
who I will be referring to as the Weeping Woman from now on. Starring Linda Cardellini, Roman Christow, Janie Lynn Kinchin, Raymond Cruz, and was directed by Michael Chavez. If you're new to this channel, I'm going to talk about my likes, my dislikes, and then give you the breakdown. All my reviews have spoilers, so consider this to be fair warning. Okay, movie watchers, let's review. So the movie starts off with the actual tragedy of the Weeping Woman, or really how the curse of La Llorona comes to be. And I think this is a good way to get the movie started. First we set it up, and now we can build the story. Anna is a widowed working mother of two who is honestly just trying to keep things together. She's working for Child Protective Services, and she ends up with a case where a mother has locked, or rather hidden, her two children in the apartment closet and won't let them out. So Anna has to go in and, with the help of the police, remove the two children from the home and basically take them into protective custody and place them in some kind of official temporary housing. The issue is they've already been marked by the Weeping Woman, and so she basically is attached to them and she can follow them anywhere. So she basically captures the two children, kidnaps them, and then drowns them in the river nearby. With Anna being a widow, when she gets called out to the scene, she has to take her kids with her. She leaves them in the car, but Chris sneaks out of the car to get a closer look, because curious little boys, and he encounters the Weeping Woman, and now he is marked. Then Samantha gets marked, and before you know it, Anna, Chris, and Samantha are all running around in fear of their lives looking for answers. They find help in Raphael, who does a pretty brilliant job at ridding the curse from the family. I've listened to other reviewers complain about how this movie is just kind of your basic horror movie and there's nothing new going on here, and that is somehow the basis for not liking this movie, which I completely freaking disagree with. And personally, I think it's freaking ridiculous. Why? Because there's only 7 basic stories in all of storytelling. You can check out the book, The 7 Basic Plots. All of storytelling only has 7 basic storylines. If you're going to dislike a movie because it's too similar to any other movie, then you literally cannot like a movie ever again. From this point on, every movie you ever watch has to be a bad movie. Every plot to every story ever told can be put in one or more of these 7 basic storylines. So you, in my opinion, you cannot use that as a basis for disliking a movie, and I largely disagree with that opinion.
It's like they're new to storytelling.
I find that to be ridiculous. Whew. Now that I got that off my chest. The first thing I noticed I liked about the movie was the cinematography, and I actually ended up loving it as the movie went on. I thought the camera work was brilliant. It gave us this natural perspective that makes the movie watcher feel like they're right there alongside the other characters. You have these longer than normal scenes, and the way the camera moves forward and the way it looks off to the side, it really adds this kind of creepy feeling because it feels like you're standing there watching it from your own natural perspective. I think that really increases the movie watcher experience, which I am all for. I mean, when Anna's walking around the house like halfway in the movie because she heard a noise, it's this long scene, but she's starting to investigate the house and you feel like you're right next to her walking around also investigating. I also rather enjoyed the simple but clear storytelling. There didn't seem to be any plot holes and the story progresses from one stage to another very naturally. Nothing felt rushed or forced. I think every step made sense and I think the movie had a decent pace. Like number 3, my favorite part of the movie was Raphael and his role. He basically has gone rogue from the church to pursue a more unorthodox type of walk of faith or relationship with the community. When Anna and the kids go to church for help, they can't help in time, so they're directed to Raphael, who uses blessings and holy things against the weeping woman and her curse. It's not very complex, but it's the way they tell his story that I found to be so enjoyable. He's like a rogue minister from the church who doesn't believe the church's way of doing things is the most appropriate. And when he agrees to help Anna and the kids, he kind of lies to them and sets them up and uses them as bait. He is also kind of comical in the movie, which some people said didn't fit very well, but I felt like it fit his role, and that's what's important. And I don't think the movie would be the same if you changed or even took his role out of the movie. Like number 4, it's kind of meaningless in the movie, but I like that they tied this movie into the Conjuring and the Annabelle universe. It's a cool little Easter egg. I love the Conjuring and the Annabelle universe, and it kind of got me pretty pumped because now I feel like this story is going to have a continuation. This was kind of a cool Easter egg for me. I rather enjoy those movies and I like those filmmakers. I didn't expect it, but I like where it's going. Hopefully this means that we can expect some sort of continuation of this story, because we have a lot more story to tell, which moves me on to my dislikes. Dislike number 1 is more of an I don't understand kind of thing. And I don't understand how she basically has authority over like every single door in the house. It's like she's the door authority, or like the door police. And I say that comically, but she really is able to like open and close and lock any door in the house at any point in time she wants to. And I don't know if this is like some unwritten rule that all spirits have control over doors. I mean, I'm fine with the fact that she does, I guess. I just don't understand, and it wasn't really explained. Dislike number 2, when the weeping woman gets a hold of Samantha at the end of the movie, she takes her to the pool instead of the river. And I was under the impression that she was supposed to drown them in the river. And if that's not true, why did she take the first 2 boys to the river to drown them instead of just finding like the closest swimming pool or bathtub? Those are my only 2 dislikes, but there are 2 more things that I don't think we got enough of. I do think the movie should have gone further into the lore and the actual curse and how it all works. And by that, I mean things like where she exists and where she takes the kids to after she drowns them. Is she always out there crying, luring kids in to trap them and drown them? Or like how and when does she come out? Also things like the mirror at the end of the movie and how seeing her reflection seemed to kind of trigger her. And then number 2, Raphael seems to have a very interesting past and a deep knowledge of blessings and curses. I would have loved to explored more of his history and background to see how he got to this point. So I'm actually hoping we get a sequel and then we can explore some of these areas further. Movie watcher question. Did you know that this movie was being tied to the Conjuring and Annabelle universe? I didn't know it till I watched the movie. I try not to read up on stuff before I go and see a movie because I don't really want any outside influence. I want to watch movies as natural as possible. So for me, this was a pretty cool surprise, a pretty cool little nugget, and I'd like to see what they do with it. Okay, movie watchers, here's the breakdown. I'm giving the writing a 7 out of 10. I think the story is solid enough and it does have natural progression, but I just would have liked to have learned more about the curse and more about Raphael. I'm giving the acting an 8 out of 10 because I think acting scared when you're not really scared is probably a hard thing to do. Also, the kids have a lot of screen time, which can make or break a movie because kids tend to not be that good of actors as adults are. But in this movie, I think everyone does great. I'm giving the cinematography a 9 out of 10. I think they did a brilliant job with the natural view and perspective that really added to my personal movie watching experience. The directing is getting a 7 out of 10, as I did enjoy it, but I do feel like they could have done some things better. There are several scenes in which it looks like they're just trying to set up a jump scare, which is fine, it's okay, but it's not my personal brand of horror. And there is more than I would like there to be in this movie. Overall, The Curse of La Llorona gets a 7.5 out of 10 from me. Thanks for watching. I've got more reviews and discussions coming your way, so check back soon for those, and I'll see you on the next one.